Okay. Oh, working on getting it sick. There we go. All right. We're back. Oh shit, that's too loud. Don't do that. Oh shit, that's too loud. All right. So apparently there was just a weird thing with the updating. Oh, all right. I don't know how much y'all missed. It couldn't have been more than a few sentences, is my hope. Nothing there. Now it's trying to find a fucking timestamp. Twitch is really bad at showing timestamps, so that's not helpful. Oh, yeah, we got a strong signal. That's the problem with equipment, is sometimes it doesn't work exactly like you intend it to, you know? Okay, here we go. Where's my ramen? There it is. I made myself a cup of ramen, in the meantime, while Jess was getting it fixed. All right, so I'm gonna outline the last few minutes. Basically, Dahlia kept insisting that Maya must have thrown herself to her death, and then Nick said, hey Dahlia, actually you're Maya. And then Dahlia exploded and got real angry that, not that she'd been fooled per se, but that she'd been fooled by Maya, who she sees as a lesser. All right. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Cup ramen is a lifesaver for a poor streamer. Just want to make that clear. My heroes today are primarily Jess and secondarily ramen. All right, ad break. There's going to be an ad break now because that's how Twitch insists on doing this. So I'm going to hit the BRB button. You missed where Iris is. Yes, Iris is locked in the cavern now because they switched places while Dahlia was in Maya's body. All right, I'm going to hit the ad break button. I'm going to move it to the startup screen or something. Doesn't matter. All right, here goes. I'll just let the music play too. But yeah, it sounds like y'all didn't miss much. I'm glad for that. I'm glad I spotted that the signal was down quickly. Back in elementary school, we used to get a brick of ramen, and you open it up just on one end, and you pour the powder in there, and then you just cronk, 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 hit the ramen bag until it's like a little dry snack. Did that a lot. Made it feel more substantial, I think. Was always the poorest kid in my class, so, you know. About 90 seconds of ads left to go. Some of you are probably hearing me, some of you not. You know, depending on the type of ad break Twitch decides to thrust upon you. Never ate it as a soup. I drain the noodles and sprinkle the sodium-infested packet on the noodles. Yeah, I've seen that a lot. Really nice if you, like, mix an egg into it. Had to get the timing just right, though, so it didn't turn into, like, a congealed mess. They had to whip it real good so it would scramble properly. Make that a meal still? Hell yeah. All right, we got about 8, 7, 6, 5. All right. Let's get back to it. And that's the dialogue we're starting with. A long sip of coffee for me. Oh, fuck. Coffee and ramen. Breakfast of champions.
So it's true. It was you.
Yes.
Ha! You're something else.
But what are you doing here? That hair. It's pearls, right? Tell me something, Dahlia. I want you to think back to that night one more time. You just cornered Maya in the Inner Temple's garden. And then, in the final moments of the fight, you lost consciousness. I was stabbed by Maya Fey. Actually, Maya lost consciousness at the same time as you.
She did.
Not terribly surprising, since she was about to be killed and all. When she woke up, she was in the training hall. And that's when Maya decided she needed help. So she channeled me. She explained in a memo the situation she was in. She asked me what I thought she should do. She did that. I can't believe it. Of course, I didn't have all the details, but one thing was perfectly clear. And that was? I knew that you couldn't be allowed to wander free.
Free?
What do you mean? It was a race against time, so I wrote down 2 things that Maya had to do. Channel Dahlia Hawthorne as soon as possible, and lock herself in the sacred cavern until help arrived.
So it was Maya who put that lock on there.
Yes, but why did you order her to do those 2 things? If she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. By one Pearl Fey.
Pearls?
Yes, Pearl didn't properly understand the plan. So all she was trying to do was follow her mother Morgan Fey's instructions. If she had succeeded in channeling Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit, things would have turned out very badly, to put it mildly.
So that's how it was. Dahlia Hawthorne would have used the body of Pearl Fey to kill Maya at all costs.
Yes, it certainly sounds like that was the intent all along. Keep up, Mr. Godot. How dare you? I won't forget this. Why not just admit it, Dahlia Hawthorne? Your little plan was nothing but a big failure. Ah! Yes, that is Pearl channeling Mia. Yes, another failure to add to the pile of shame. Wouldn't you say? What do you mean by another? Think about it, Dahlia. You remember all your past crimes? Not a single one of them was a success. They all ended in failure. You're not just a murderer, you're an incompetent murderer. How dare you? 11 years ago. The fake kidnapping. Your very first crime. You got your hands on a $2 million diamond, but... after Terry Falls escaped and went to meet with Valerie Hawthorne, the truth was exposed. Shut your mouth! That wasn't my fault! It was because of that stupid oaf of a prisoner and that weakling of a policewoman. And then, 1 year later, you tried to kill me! Oh, well, I'm still alive, but... you wound up killing someone else. As a result, you were sentenced to death. That's one stupid move after another for you. But it's no longer funny. You wipe that smug, happy-go-looking smile off of your face. And now this. You messed up again. You let Maya Fey escape, even though she was right there in front of you. Mia Fey, Mia Fey, Mia Fey, Mia Fey! You spinster! Ooh, burn. I was supposed to kill Maya Fey, like I swore I would. And if you had gotten the spiky-haired jerk the guilty verdict, I wouldn't have been hanged to death. True. But I think you finally understand, Dahlia Hawthorne. You will never defeat me. What? What did you say? Whether you're alive, dead, or somewhere in between, you will never defeat me. As long as I'm around, you're destined to lose for all of eternity. I remember what you said earlier in the trial. You said there was no way we could punish you, because you were already dead. What about it? Then you said, even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on. Forever. That's very true, Dahlia. And that's exactly the punishment you'll never be able to escape from. For all of eternity, you'll have to remain as Dahlia Hawthorne. A miserable, pathetic, weak creature who can never win at anything. And for you, there's no escape from that. There is no hope of freedom. Since the day you were executed, the narrow bridge that once stretched out in front of you is burnt to a crisp. Hey, Astro Dude. You. You're wrong. It can't be. How could I lose to the likes of you? It no longer matters. I don't care whether you win or lose anymore. The only thing I want is for you to come out of Maya's body right now. I hope Edgeworth is okay. Holy shit. I'm not ready to go. I like that that flame kind of looked like it was walking. You okay there, Risby? Nick? Sis?
Now then, I assume you are, the real Iris.
Yes, I was just rescued from the sacred cavern.
I must say, you and your twin sister are indeed identical from what I can see. In any case, it appears that everything's finally been cleared up. Mr. Godot, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne?
If you ask me, Your Honor, it looks like she went back to the hell she came from.
It seems that Misty Fey wasn't the only victim of this crime. Maya Fey, as well as the young Pearl Fey, were also victims of this wicked and selfish plan.
Yes, Your Honor.
The tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to an end, it seems. It would be best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again.
Your Honor.
Yes, what is it?
About this whole spirit medium thing. Yeah, it's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now. Nick, he has been dealing with you for 3 years. If he hadn't gotten used to it, he would have retired.
Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me for not studying hard enough. That's why I've made a concerted effort to study up on the Kurain channeling technique. Hey, isn't that the New Year's issue of Occult? I've seen quite a few things in my many years on the bench. And in all that time, I finally learned this one thing. Each case is different, and takes place in its own world, if you will. In order to fully understand that world, well, first you have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I used to differ.
Huh. Never thought of it that way. Also, if I did that, then I wouldn't have been able to solve this. Never mind, it's fine.
At any rate, it's time to pass judgment in the case of Iris of Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
God damn it. You're a little too fast with that gavel, Your Honor.
What do you mean by that, Mr. Godot?
This trial isn't over yet. That's what he means.
What? Trite. Remember what Ms. Evil Spirit said in her testimony? Huh? Dahlia's testimony?
I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. And then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that.
It's actually an important point. Sometimes judges have to deal with new or obscure technology and have to do research to apply the law coherently. Hell yeah. Which means this might be the most competent judge I've ever seen. That's terrifying. The sword cane did come up. Actually, right at the beginning, because Dahlia claimed that Elise had thrown her staff aside to pull out a dagger. And it was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. The sword was, the cane was a sword. So she didn't use that, but we used it to prove there was no reason that she would have pulled out a dagger either.
I think I was stabbed. Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya, she was stabbed and killed by someone.
Yes, that's right. The person that was ultimately killed was the spirit medium that channeled Dahlia. At least don't him. No, Misty Faye. But who killed her? We still don't know who did it.
This isn't over?
I'm with Nick.
Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. We can't let her walk until there's evidence that proves her innocence.
There's a recent copyright case where a judge had to read a truckload of high school werewolf fiction. I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
We can't let her walk until there's evidence that proves her innocence.
No way.
But this court isn't prepared for any further testimony. The prosecution is ready to call our final witness.
Our on-screen caption's broken again. Very probable. They usually are.
Final witness? This one will clear up the whole mystery. The mystery of who killed Misty Faye. Indeed.
Is it really all right, Mr. Prosecutor?
All right, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can kickstart the bot, because that'll only take a minute. There is. Change the order of the shit on the website again. There we go. Turn it off. Turn it on. There we go. If it's gonna work, then it's gonna work now. Not gonna work. The bot's working, just not the chat box, so I'll have to look into that later. Weird.
Of course it's all right, Madam Attorney. Very well, then. Who is this final witness? Isn't it obvious? There's one person who saw the whole event and will put the final dagger in this case.
Someone who saw the murder. We're gonna put Maya on the stand now.
The very person who saw her mother killed in front of her own eyes.
You mean Maya? You can't. She can't testify after what she's just been through.
We need to find the truth.
The prosecution calls Maya Fey to the witness stand.
Very well. But first, we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Ms. Fey to recover before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's permission, we will proceed with the trial.
Hey, Trite. I got something to say to you, so listen up. What is it? I don't think much of you as a lawyer. It's always the same with you. You somehow manage to just squeak by without even a faint understanding of the case. Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last minute to save you.
You've got some nerve.
But that's not gonna happen this time. This time, you're gonna have to do this by yourself.
That's enough. This court is now in recess.
He could just try talking to Mia, right? February 10, 2:56 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 1.
I'm truly sorry about everything. You were working so hard to defend me. But I was missing all day and we didn't even have a chance to talk.
She's right. When I met Iris at the training hall yesterday, they'd already switched places. And Iris was inside the sacred cavern.
I wanted to at least be in the defendant's box today to root you on.
Oh, well, it wasn't your fault. You were locked up the whole time. There's something more important than that, though. I have to ask you. Why did you help your sister out as much as you did?
Huh?
If you tried to get help at the sacred cavern yesterday, you wouldn't have spent an entire day locked up in there.
My sister. I felt sorry for her. She was abandoned by our mother and never got any love from our father either.
Yeah, but it was the same for you too, wasn't it?
Yes, but I had Sister Bikini, who was like a mother to me. Only Dahlia had come with me to Hazakura Temple. I always loved her. Dahlia was always so smart, so strong. She never complained about a thing. That's why I promised her that I'd help her.
Are you talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago?
Yes, I wanted to be useful in some way. But as usual, I was too cowardly. At the last minute, I ran away. Because of that, Dahlia's stepsister Valerie ended up...
That was the case that wounded Mia so badly.
But things didn't end there, of course. Some people suspected that my sister was involved in the murder.
Some people? You must mean...
Yes, 2 defense attorneys. Mia Fey and Diego Armando. After poisoning Mr. Armando, who was getting too close to learning the truth, Dolly even tried to kill the person who had unknowingly hid the poison for her. You.
That's right. Iris? There's one more thing that I have to ask you.
Yes, what is it?
On the night of the murder, the person that cleaned up the corpse of the victim, Elise Donim, was it really you?
Yes, it was me. That night after I rang the lights out bell, I went back to my room. At around 10:30, I received a call on my cell phone. Thought there was no reception up here. There's a problem. Come to the inner temple right away. I got on the snowmobile and headed for the inner temple. But the path to the inner temple was cut off, right? Exactly. We can't just leave the body here. So you've got to do this exactly as I say. Got it? It was me. I was the one who received her body. The murder weapon had been left on her body so she wouldn't bleed too much. The staff that Mystic Elise always held.
I knew it. So the actual murder weapon was the staff.
Yes, that's right. I brought the body back to Hazakura Temple on the snowmobile.
Well, why? Why did you alter the body?
I didn't want anyone to know that the staff was the murder weapon. I didn't want to leave anything that would lead back to Misty Faye. So I dressed her in a robe and stabbed her with the shishito. I wiped the blood off the staff's blade and left it next to her on the ground.
Iris, just tell me one last thing. Tell me the name of the person that called your cell phone. The real killer.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I can't do it. I can't say who did it.
I see. Has a sword hidden inside, the actual weapon used to murder the victim. Defendant?
Yes.
The judge is calling you. He wants to see you in his chambers. He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne.
All right. Well then, I'll see you later. There's something I want to tell you.
Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell me? So it's true. Iris cooperated with the real killer. Maybe even from the very beginning.
Phoenix?
Mia, how's Maya doing?
Physically, I'm not worried. She'll recover completely. But emotionally, she's been hurt very badly by this case.
I see. You don't mean she's learned who Elise Donham really was?
Yes. I went to the medical office and talked with her. I told her everything I knew.
But why?
Maya is stronger than you think. I knew she could take it. All of it.
What do you mean by that?
I want you to figure out that answer by yourself. The trial's about to restart. The real killer? Do you know who it is yet?
Iris wouldn't tell me you called her, but still. I think that just maybe I know who it was. That night, the victim was killed in the garden of the Inner Temple. And the criminal wasn't just there by accident. Which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plan from the very beginning.
And one more thing. The victim was moved to Hazakura Temple. The victim was moved to the Hazakura Temple side by pendulum. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means that they were stuck on the inner temple side for almost an entire day.
Exactly. So the culprit was someone that wasn't in Hazakura Temple the following day.
That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is yours to win, or lose.
Okay, I've got it. Thank you, Mia. Finally. It's almost time to bring this case to an end. What exactly did Maya see, anyway? And who was it that actually killed Misty Faye? Whoever it was, I have to prove it. Me, all by myself.
Look up how long this final part is. Okay. This shouldn't be too bad. I think we can finish this up tonight. In the next little while. It's always near the end of these games that I end up going way over time. But we got this. February 10, 3:36 p.m., District Court, Courtroom number 7.
Now, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the tests we had performed earlier.
Tests? It isn't quite as twisty-turny as the last big one, but it's pretty twisty-turny.
Yes, tests on the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree.
Oh, yeah, that. I totally forgot about it.
That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim.
So what are the results? Was the victim's blood, or...
Due to time constraints, a full test wasn't possible. However, there's one thing we can say with certainty. The blood that was on this dagger was not the victim's blood.
Of course it wasn't.
That is all. Now then, let's restart this trial.
So it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger.
Then whose was it?
Found stuck in a pine tree in the inner temple garden. The blood does not match the victim's.
I hope it was not Chris's blood.
I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims.
I understand, Your Honor.
From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking. So let's finish this quickly.
Agreed.
Very well. Please bring in the last witness.
Witness, please tell us your name and profession.
Maya Fey. My profession is... I'm the assistant manager at Wright & Co. Law Offices.
Maya. According to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium of the Kurain channeling technique.
I'm frightened. The Fey clan, I don't want any more to do with it.
Oh, Maya. The pain the Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable.
Very well. Now then, Ms. Fey, when the event occurred, you were in the garden of the inner temple. And you witnessed the moment of Ms. Elise Donim's murder. Is this correct?
Straighten up this instant, young lady.
Huh?
Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later.
But I...
Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There is nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out, and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, What exactly did you see happen?
Witness, if you please.
Yes, Your Honor.
At the inner temple.
I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!"
He demands strength out of everyone but himself. Yep.
Then something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness.
So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been this staff.
Maya, the person who hit you. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it?
I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was.
Maya, think hard.
Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't.
Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone.
It seems that it will be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination.
Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. At the inner temple.
I was passing through the garden on the way to the spare prep room when it happened.
Who else was on the inner temple side at that night?
Well, Sister Bikini, of course, but I remember her saying that Iris would be coming later as well.
On the day after the incident, Edgeworth met Bikini at Hazakura Temple. That means she couldn't be the criminal. So then, did Iris actually come later like she said?
Well, let me think.
She seems confused. It's probably because she's so tired.
No, I'm sure I didn't see her. She must have come while I was preparing for the training. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head.
Who did it? Who hit you? I'll beat them up. I'll rip their noses off and stuff it up their butts.
Well, I didn't see who it was. I was hit from behind.
You didn't see the person. But after that, your attacker was in front of you. How could you not see who it was? Oh, wow, that's a weird cut to make to a previous case.
Let me think for a sec. I'm sorry, I just can't remember.
Maya's really having a hard time. What should I do? I don't want to press her harder on this. Besides, I think there's something more important later. Considering the conditions at the crime scene, it's not surprising she didn't see her attacker.
Ha! So it looks like even you've got some compassion.
Judging by the testimony thus far, the identity of the attacker was most likely
the spirit that was channeled by Elise Donham, Dahlia Hawthorne.
Very well, please continue with your testimony. What happened after you were struck on the head?
I stumbled and I ended up against the stone lantern.
That puts them in the opposite order that was claimed before, the opposite positions. What happened afterwards?
My attacker was in front of me, blocking off my escape, I think.
You think?
After getting hit like that, I was in a state of panic. There were only two things rolling around in my mind at the time.
Well now, this is beginning to get interesting.
So what were those two things rolling around in your mind?
My name is Maya Fey. 1 + 1 = 2. See, for some crazy reason, I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. I know it's odd considering my life was in danger, but that's how it was.
That's not odd at all. Your actions are understandable given the circumstances. So, what did you do then?
I think I screamed, "Help me!"
You think you screamed, but you're not sure?
Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, an adult, a child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits.
Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my robes.
I thought this person might attack me, so I... Anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that it was my last hope.
Wow, it sounds like poor little Maya really was out of her mind. But I wonder what she meant by last hope. What do I do? Do I press her for more details? That is an odd choice of words. I'm curious. Wait a minute, Maya. What's this my last hope stuff?
What? What do you mean by your last hope?
No. That's what you said. You said my last hope.
Huh? What? I said what?
Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see, and you screamed, right? You screamed, "Help me."
Yeah.
But you testified that you screamed that because you thought it was your last hope.
Oh, well, you know, that's like what you do. That's what do you call it when that happens?
Maya is not doing so well up there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at.
What did you just say?
Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming to for help.
What is it now?
I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out.
Huh?
Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person?
Oh no. I meant to keep that part a secret. Oh, what have I done? Oh no.
It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say.
A ton of pressure.
You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things behind in this chamber. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber.
Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. I want you to add it to your testimony.
I could see a man behind my attacker by the light of the stone lantern.
Yep. We know who it was now. My suspicion had been there for, quite a while. A man? Who was this man?
Well, you see, I couldn't see.
Who was that masked man, anyway? You couldn't see. She's used this excuse twice now.
Well, you know, lantern light isn't very bright.
Lantern light, did you say?
There's a great big stone lantern in the garden.
Except it wasn't lit that night. Right? The wick was bad.
They always light it when an acolyte's there for training. Hey, you know what they say, under the lantern darkness reigns. So I could see the person that was further away, but not my attacker who was closer. Plus, there weren't any other light sources in the garden at the time. and something warm splashed over me.
Was not lit the night of the crime. So there was a man standing behind your attacker.
Yeah.
That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Donim, otherwise known as Misty Faye, your mother.
The killer.
Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you?
What's the meaning of this, Mr. Wright?
To be frank, Your Honor, I think she's in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with her testimony.
Huh? What do you mean? What problem?
Maya. Well, it's about to get dark. On the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission.
Huh? What?
It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night.
No.
Order! Order in the court! Mr. Godot, explain this!
Oh my god.
Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee and stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of cafe au lait.
Cafe au lait? Is that even legal?
Mr. Trite's words are the milk, and you are the spoon, Your Honor.
I'm a spoon? I'm no spoony bard, I'll have you know.
Oh good, he's a Final Fantasy IV fan. That's a random reference to throw in there.
You must have noticed it too, Trite. This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that.
Sorry, but that's not gonna cut it.
What did you say?
If there truly was no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony.
Nick.
May I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. She said that she didn't know if it was a man or a woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker. And she quite clearly described him as a man. In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of her own attacker.
No.
Order! Order! What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Faye saw the real killer under pitch-black conditions?
Trite, do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene.
There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark. And now, you're trying to cover for him.
Cover? For the man that killed her mother?
There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is.
Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you.
You talk a good game, Trite, but let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black. So what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff.
No, Nick, don't. Please, stop.
Maya's dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court, and I'm here to find the truth.
I have a feeling I know why she's holding it back.
All right, Mr. Wright. Time to show us what you've got. Who was the person that you say Miss Fay saw in the darkness?
Because it was pitch black, Ms. Fay was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes?
What? But how do you propose to show us something like that?
It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night.
Conditions?
Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off.
What? This is... But it can't be.
That was a nice bit of deduction. Right.
Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder.
Order! Order! Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it?
Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person.
Well, what do you mean by that?
If you've got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules.
Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night, was it 3 glowing red lights?
Well, witness, answer the question.
You're wrong. I never saw that.
Maya,
I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man, for a totally different reason.
what?
Witness, what?
Stop your chattering, Your Honor.
Chattering?
If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules.
All right. Well, then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man.
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but...
The killer.
When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit and the body was gone. And all the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Since the person that did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man.
So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man.
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor,
No need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godot said. You're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the culprit was a man. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination.
Ah, yes. The credible judge.
When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor.
So you lost consciousness when you were in the gardens, is that right?
Yes, I think it happened when the victim was stabbed.
So then the person that carried you into the inner temple?
It could only have been the killer.
That's what I think too.
So the killer carried Maya into the inner temple.
By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed.
Naturally, the killer must have done it, right?
Yes, I think so.
But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide.
I don't know.
It looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather more information before I ask her again. Credulous, credible, basically the same thing.
The torches were lit and the body was gone.
The torches were lit.
Yes, that's how I noticed that the whole scene had changed.
I'm gonna say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be?
The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me.
Is it the red writing that only Godot can't see?
Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body?
That's true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who'd gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya.
Very well. Let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene.
All right, it looks like we're going to take one last ad break. So I'll see you back here in 3 minutes. All right, we're back. This is the final part. This is it. We're finishing it right now.
And all the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up, too.
So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It did look really odd. The snow was removed in an unnatural-looking rectangular shape around the lantern. Exactly, it's the final countdown. That's twice it's been referenced in one night.
There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they're all really heavy. Way too heavy for me to use.
An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away?
Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victims' blood sprayed onto the snow?
Yeah. The area I collapsed in ended up being splattered.
In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation.
Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it, there was no need to remove that amount.
That's true. He could have just scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood.
It looks like there's some other mysteries behind this issue.
But I think this will help explain them. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man.
So you're saying that you never saw the killer, right?
Yes.
But earlier you very clearly stated that you saw a man behind your attacker.
Nick, I'm sorry.
The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble. Moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene. For what purpose? Why do all that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. Okay, so now we gotta go back to the one that she wouldn't respond on. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right?
Yes, I think so.
But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide.
The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something.
You did?
Yes. I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me. For my sake.
What? Hiding it for you?
Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. If Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden,
she may have thought that you had done it.
No, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened?
Yes, I'm sure of it.
Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor.
The body of Elise Donham was carried all the way to Hazakura Temple's courtyard. Then at the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe that all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that seems somewhat odd.
Oh, and what would that be?
You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't they wipe the writing off the lantern?
You're right! Order! 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 But Mr. Wright! Isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene?
Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow, then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing.
But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all that snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern?
I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it.
Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern?
Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial, you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought.
The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime had occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it.
But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that.
You're right. There is no way any normal person would.
What? What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright?
There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether.
Who would that be? Who's the person that could have failed to notice the bloody writing?
Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday.
My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything.
You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot?
This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I'd like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented.
This lantern? There's something written on it. Why? It's written in blood.
Nonsense. This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle.
Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before, during the poisoning case at Tribulations.
This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird, was wearing at the time. And somehow spilled coffee on.
There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court?
Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be?
Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-covered stain that's smeared all over the apron.
That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain.
You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup because it was red.
You know, it's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them?
So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern?
Hey, Gramps, didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea.
Okay.
I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer.
But there's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth.
Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Ms. Elise Donim, also known as Ms. Misty Fey.
It's hard to believe this may be true, however, once again, Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you.
Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on. How does a little graffiti make me into the killer? Besides, it's not like it's my name that's written there.
I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red.
This is rich. Do go on, Trite.
The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow.
The snow? How so?
Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. If he wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area?
Yes, why didn't he take out just that area? Oh! Could it be?
Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow. And so he had to remove all of it. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area.
Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark?
Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see just fine.
It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot?
Wait just a minute. Maya.
What is it, witness?
Mr. Godot isn't the killer. After all, he didn't even come to the Inner Temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after that old bridge got fixed up.
Maya. You can't testify to something like that.
Why? What do you mean? I may not look it.
After the murder happened, you didn't even exist.
She didn't? I'm afraid I don't follow.
Are you senile, old man? We established this just a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne.
Oh, that's right.
Please, Your Honor, let me add my testimony. Nick, please listen to me.
Maya, you plan to cover for Godot no matter what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we shouldn't silence her. Nicely done, Trite.
Very well. Let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened at the Inner Temple after the murder.
Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling and my spirit left me, as it were. But little Pearly was there at the Inner Temple, too.
After the incident.
Pearly was also stuck on the Inner Temple on the Inner Temple side that night.
Yeah, he has already died.
That, opens up a whole can of worms. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time. He found Pearly first and cheered her right up.
Who is this Pearly?
That's my little cousin, Pearl Fay.
So when did you hear about this?
Oh, just a while ago, when I was in the medical office.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, but what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible testimony.
What? Come on! Pearly would never tell a lie.
No, we got that. We definitely got that, Mox. Don't worry.
She's way more honest than I'll ever be.
Real smart, Maya. You always know the best thing to say when you're under oath.
Ha! The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness.
Mr. Godot?
Let's just move on to the cross-examination if the defense has no objections.
This is highly unusual, but... Well, Mr. Wright?
Let's get this cross-examination started. After the incident,
Pearly was also stuck on the inner temple side that night.
so where did you think Pearl slept that? Okay, it's not my dyslexia this time. Where do you think Pearl slept that night?
In the spare prep room next to the training hall, I guess. There's a rule that you can't enter the training hall during an acolyte's training.
But even so, why did she go to the inner temple in the first place?
Seems that Pearls became very worried about Maya.
She knew that the spiritual training I was about to undergo is very intense.
Pearls was supposed to channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the inner temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, possessing the body of Elise Donim.
The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone.
She searched the entire temple side, end to end.
Well, see, Pearly gets pretty scared when she's alone, and there weren't that many places to look. She says she even went back and forth several times.
The inner temple has two structures, the training hall and a spare prep room.
And there's also the storage shack, I think, and that's about it.
There was a storage shack, too? Pearls was looking for other people, right? Would she have really examined a storage shack all that carefully?
Well, if it was me, that'd be the first place I'd investigate.
You know, she's right.
So that means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack.
The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room.
Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge?
What do you mean?
I was just wondering why she'd stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait at the foot of the bridge.
Oh, well, Pearly said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night that she couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times.
Poor little girl, all alone like that.
Well, we know...
We know that she had at least one friend in the sacred cavern. Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling the trick lock.
She couldn't let anyone see her, so she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls.
What happened after the bridge was finally fixed?
That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time.
So it was your first time at the inner temple side, Mr. Godot?
That's funny. Am I imagining things, or did the defense ask me a question?
Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness.
What you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony.
Those are your words, Your Honor. Touché, Mr. Wright. Oh, well. What do you have to say, Mr. Godot?
Jesus Christ.
Hot nights and even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If it hadn't been for this case, I never would have visited there. A freezing cold temple in the mountains, I think I'll pass.
So he had never visited Hazakura Temple or the Inner Temple, huh?
You want to say something trite?
In any case, I have to find a crack in Godot's armor. While I cross-examine Maya, that is.
Very well, please go on with your testimony. After fixing the bridge, the policeman came over to the Inner Temple side, right?
Yes. Then Mr. Godot, he found Pearly first and cheered her right up.
He cheered her up?
That's what Pearly said. She said he was a very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot.
And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict.
Cut it out, you're making me blush.
This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves in more ways than one.
The truth is that there aren't that many places to look on the Inner Temple side. The policemen were all busy going over the garden with fine-tooth combs. So I decided to carry out an investigation in my own way. Godot style.
I'm the same way. I like to hand down verdicts in my own way. Judge style.
Huh. Maybe I should ask some questions, Phoenix style. You said you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything?
It looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, Trite. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern.
Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles.
The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall.
Beauty?
Misty Fey, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes.
Western tastes? Could he find a stranger way to describe gravy? He could have said Quebec sauce. Right? That'd be stranger.
So from there, you headed to the prep room?
Wait a sec. What did Godot say just now? I think I just found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? He must have already been at the Inner Temple when it happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed Elise Stoneham. Gravy. It's the fucking gravy. It all comes back to the fucking gravy. Objection! Mr. Godot, the first time you crossed Dusky Bridge and went into the Inner Temple was long before the murder took place.
Why do you say that?
Because he just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall?
Hanging scroll?
But Mr. Godot's right. That scroll shows a picture of my mother.
Maya, I know you know who it is, but here's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this.
What's that wonderfully delicious smell?
The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy.
Gravy? Why gravy, Nick?
Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot,
If you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing that it was Misty Fey.
Wait a minute, Nick.
Yes?
Take another look at the hanging scroll. Look, at the top, there's a crest there.
Oh, that. Yeah, it's the mark of the master, correct?
Exactly. So if you know the meaning of the mark,
Then you could guess that it was a picture of Misty Fey on there. True, but Mr. Godot described what was underneath like this. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes.
oh,
Yeah, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known that she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the Inner Temple long before the crime took place.
Can I ask you just one little thing, Trite?
What is it?
This whole theory of yours, it all rests on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand that a crime was going to be committed.
that's right. Otherwise, there's no reason for him to sneak onto the crime scene.
Of course, Mr. Godot knew about the plan.
Huh?
What did you say? Is it really possible that another person knew of the plan? It sure is. This crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fay authored the plan for her daughter's future. And these instructions were hidden somewhere in Fay Manor for a year. However, by the time Little Pearls found these instructions, they'd already been unsealed. Unsealed? Yeah. The killer had read these instructions long before Pearls ever found them. That's how he knew the crime was to take place at the Inner Temple.
And you still insist this crafty killer was me?
You bet I do.
But you said that the instructions were hidden.
That's right. Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden.
If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out. Yes, and when was that? During a visit.
A visit?
Morgan Fay told her daughter Pearl about where the instructions were hidden. During one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden. Eavesdropping on a visit at the detention center? Yep, it could be arranged if you were someone with easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot. Did he just smell gravy through a photograph? Yes. Order! Order! Mr. Godot, you're under fire again! This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge, and you were the only one that could have acquired this information before the murder. Game over, Godot.
Humans are afraid of the dark. And yet, at the same time, we are fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness that is coffee.
Can confirm. We drink coffee because we're afraid of the dark. Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean?
It means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he learned of a hidden plan for a crime. And discovering the plans, he hid in the Inner Temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all of that just to protect this witness?
That's right.
If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl's nothing but a stranger to me. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her. I am what you see, and I am certainly not the type to rescue the damsel in distress.
The killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for lack of a better word. Even considering that the killer wanted to protect the witness's life, his behavior is still a little too unnatural.
However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godot? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs.
I knew it. You figured it out, haven't you, Nick?
Clearly not, because you're hella bad at the fucking worst. Maya, I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godot. For the same reason, huh?
Okay, Trite, I'm all ears. Let's hear it.
It's very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you.
What's this?
There's one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. One person that ties you and Maya Fey together inextricably. There's a very good reason why Maya Fey's life is so precious to you. After all, she's Mia Fey's only sister.
Mia Fey.
You once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defense attorney.
Wait a second here. Mr. Godot is a defense attorney?
With your Honor's piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godot, his real name is Diego Armando. Isn't that right?
The last time someone called me by that name was over 6 years ago.
Diego Armando. That name rings a bell.
It should, Your Honor. All of this is related to a single case. A case in which a convict named Terry Falls killed himself. Mia Fey's first time in court, the tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew that behind it all was a heartless, scheming demoness in disguise. But in the end, Mia couldn't tear off that disguise. However, there was one man who reached out to help her. Diego Armando, a senior defense attorney at the office where Mia worked. It's my fault. It's all my fault that Mr. Falls killed himself.
Mia, you can't cry yet. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. I was moved by her. The way she put all her faith in her clients, that pure sweetheart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Mia and I thoroughly investigated that fake kidnapping incident. Then one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It had been 6 months since the trial. We met in the courthouse cafeteria.
Ah, I just remembered. 6 years ago, right here in this courthouse, you were poisoned.
Yep, he's a real piece of shit.
Even I didn't see it coming. Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee.
Some newspapers at the time called it a murder, but very little information about the case was released to the press.
But you weren't dead at all. No official report ever called it a murder. I was just in a deep, deep coma.
I see.
My body shut down, and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. That woman's poison did a real number on my central nervous system. I lost my sight and all of my hair turned white due to the damage it caused.
That's terrible.
Apparently, it was a miracle that I ever regained consciousness. 5 years had passed since I drank that poison brew. Then one morning, my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee.
5 years? You were asleep for 5 years?
And the worst possible news was waiting for me. Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I'd already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered, and the woman I loathed had been sentenced to death.
The woman you loathed?
The woman who'd spiked my scalding hot coffee, Dahlia Hawthorne. Good old Mia, she didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up.
That's so sad.
For someone like me, for someone who'd slept away their best days, there was only 2 reasons left to live. And it was for those 2 reasons that I decided to become a prosecutor.
If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons to live?
The first was you, Trite.
Huh? Me?
If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey never would have died, much less the way she did. You were the only one who was there to protect her. But you let her die. It was all your fault.
It wasn't like that.
I wanted to see for myself what kind of a man you really were.
So that's why you became a prosecutor?
Well, my other reason for living, she goes by the name of Mia Fey.
You mean me?
You were the only way I could make up for the sin of not saving Mia. 1 year ago, when the Kurain village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fey was planning something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her.
And that's how you overheard Pearl's visit with Morgan at the detention center.
I knew that the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal was to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep that girl from being caught up in it.
That makes sense. In a fucked up kind of way. If Pearls had known the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she never would have helped out.
Finally, the day of the plan was drawing near, and I contacted both of my accomplices.
Accomplices?
Iris of Hazakura Temple and Misty Fey. I especially needed the help of Iris. She was to take the fall in my backup plan in case we couldn't control Pearl Fey.
But how did you contact my mother?
She'd been missing for
almost 20 years.
Officially, yes.
What? What do you mean officially?
You've heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government?
Now that you mention it, Bikini did say something to that effect. She said that the Master of Kurain had great authority.
Even without her official position, Misty Fey still wielded great influence. The police have been keeping an eye on her movements all this time. That's how I was able to contact her. Again, because of my position as a prosecutor.
So my mother was cooperating with you?
Don't ever forget, no matter how far away from you she was, she never stopped thinking about you.
She was always...
That's why I knew she would do anything to protect you. If you want to know how strong her resolve to protect you was, take a look at her staff.
Her staff? The one with the sword in it?
The day the plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough. We met for the first time at Hazakura Temple. That's when your mother showed me a special staff. I realized it then just how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fay if necessary. Yes, even if it meant paying the ultimate price.
Mother?
That night, the night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan's evil plan.
You mean pearls, don't you?
We had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne.
Well, Pearl, what are you going to do tonight? Well, if you'd like, you can come to my room. Perhaps we can read some books together.
We thought we could prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan, but she never showed up.
She was worried and followed me to the inner temple.
That was the thing we were most afraid of. And that's why Misty Fay had to do the channeling herself.
So basically, Godot fucked everything up right from the get-Godot.
She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body.
What? What do you mean?
If she channeled the spirit first, then Pearl wouldn't be able to do it herself.
As Master of Kurain, Misty Fay's power was supreme. So that's how it went down. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne so that Pearl Fay wouldn't be able to.
What? Is this true?
My role in the plan was to make sure no one was going to hurt Maya Fay. That's why I hid myself at the inner temple. Just in case you needed to be saved from Dahlia Hawthorne.
All of this could have been prevented if he had just fucking talked to Phoenix and Maya at the beginning.
Godot. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna admit to, trite.
Huh?
There's no doubt about it, you're a great defense attorney. But you're going to have to do the rest yourself.
The background leading up to this incident has been laid bare. There's just one question remaining, Dr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There are only two possible suspects right now. Maya Fay, and I'm sad to say you, Mr. Godot.
Well, trite, if you're the real deal, then finish this thing once and for all. Show us beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can finish this on your own.
No, Nick, please don't. Maya, I heard the whole thing from my sister in the medical office. That's why I have to protect Mr. Godot. I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put his life on the line to protect Mia and me too.
Maya, I know that.
Nick?
But even so, it doesn't absolve him of his crime. Please, Maya, testify.
Ms. Fay, your testimony, please.
This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything, because I'll know. I want to hear the truth from your own lips. I understand. I'm sure you're right. I'm ready now, Nick.
All right, young lady. Tell us about the moments before you lost consciousness. What exactly happened at the time of the murder? The time of the murder.
Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights. 3 of them. I thought I'd ask for help, but just then I was splattered with blood. She wasn't dead, though. She was struck back at the enemy. She struck back at the enemy behind her. Suddenly, the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream. And right after that, Dahlia collapsed and I lost consciousness.
These red lights. I thought you said you don't remember seeing them.
I'm sorry. I thought I saw them, but then they disappeared all of a sudden.
Things break, Trite. Even the best of theories. Or masks. Who was it that stabbed Misty Faye? It looks like you still can't prove it. Maya's telling the truth this time. I know it. The rest is up to me.
Well then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your final cross-examination of the witness.
Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights. 3 of them.
Lights shining in the dark? I don't think you could make a mistake about that.
Yeah, you're right. I think I saw them, but I can't say for certain. And I can't tell you for sure they were from Mr. Godot's mask either.
I don't get the feeling she's covering for him anymore, but... I'm gonna push as little as I can. Maya's life was in terrible danger at the time. There's no way she can remember the details of the scene perfectly.
All right then, let's go on with the testimony. What did you do when you saw the red lights?
I thought I'd ask for help, but just then I was splattered with blood.
That blood, was it Dahlia Hawthorne's blood? Was it Chris's blood?
I think so, probably. Just at that moment, I heard a soft scream that seemed to be close by. It was a woman's voice.
So that was when the killer stabbed the victim from behind with the murder weapon. Is that right?
Without a doubt, Maya was in the middle of a really dangerous situation. Anyway, the victim was stabbed by the murder weapon. What happened after that? Should probably save? Yeah, you may be right.
She wasn't dead, though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her.
Struck back? How do you know that?
Well, you're right, I didn't see it exactly. But I could tell by the sounds of their breathing and movement. And also the smell of blood.
You've witnessed more horror than any young lady should ever have to in one life. So then, what did you do at that moment? At that point?
I couldn't move. I could just barely make out their shadows moving in the dark, but I had no idea what to do.
Do you still see the red lights you mentioned earlier?
Yes, I think so. But suddenly the red lights went out and the whole area was dark.
They went out?
Yes, suddenly I couldn't see them at all.
What could it mean?
If the red lights were coming from Godot's mask and they went out right in the middle of a fight, maybe the mask was damaged. Maybe it was knocked off? Or maybe the batteries ran out. Oh, well, maybe the batteries ran out, right, Trite?
Or maybe those little red pinhead-looking lights just stopped working.
What could have really happened? Did he just refer to LEDs as little red pinhead-looking lights?
I like that. Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream.
What do you mean by just at that moment? Do you mean the moment when the red lights went out?
Yes, that's right.
The scream that you heard then, was it Dahlia Hawthorne?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was a man's voice.
What? So then the scream came from the killer?
That's gotta be it.
I think Dahlia Hawthorne must have taken the blade and attacked the killer with it.
And then the killer let out a scream of pain, huh?
After that, the killer stole the blade back and delivered the final blow, I guess.
Well, Mr. Wright, it seems to make sense to me.
Sounds like a reasonable deduction, but I still kind of wonder. I mean, the music changed and everything. I'm sorry to say this, but that interpretation would create an enormous contradiction.
That makes sense. After all, my deductions are almost certainly never correct.
Jesus Christ. Remember the testimony she just gave before the killer let out a scream? Maya said she'd already been splattered by the victim's blood. In other words, the blade and the staff had already been plunged into the victim.
Is that right?
She couldn't have struck back with a sword that was already stuck in her body. The weapon that caused the killer to let out a scream must have been something other than the staff. If you're so sure about that, then don't keep us waiting any longer, Trite. There's only one thing I can think of that could have been used as the weapon here. If Dahlia Hawthorne had already been stabbed in the back by the staff, what could she have used to strike back at the killer? Literally the only stabbing implement we've got. Naturally, the dagger the killer brought to the scene of the crime.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
This dagger was found at the crime scene, stuck into a pine tree. Yes, the detective found that this morning and brought it to me. Dahlia Hawthorne struck back at the killer with this, and she managed to wound him as well. Just because he let out a scream doesn't mean that he was wounded. For all we know, the blood on the dagger could have been from the victim. Have you forgotten that the blood's already been tested? Since we learned it wasn't the victim's blood, it must be the killer's blood. The killer must have a wound somewhere on his body.
So you're saying the blood on this dagger belongs to the killer?
Exactly. A DNA analysis of the blood would prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And yes, Mr. Godot, it would prove that it's your blood. Nice theory, Trite.
Order! Order in the court!
Is this the end? Have I done it? Even he won't be able to change the results of a scientific test, probably. Let me ask you something, Trite. Let's just say that it turned out that I was the killer. Do you really think I'd be stupid enough to leave evidence like that? What? Just think for a second. This dagger was found this morning by a detective and brought to me. There was already blood on it, correct? But even so, I was the one who brought this dagger here to the courtroom.
Yes, well, what does that prove?
Well, if I really were the killer,
I could have washed the blade off and then planted another person's blood on it.
That's... it can't be.
In any case, there's one thing I can guarantee, Trite. That blood, it doesn't belong to me. Not a chance.
What? In any event, it seems to be established that the killer was wounded. All right then, witness, continue your... Wait a minute. What's the problem? I know I probably shouldn't say this, but there's a big contradiction in Nick's explanation. This dagger? You said that it wounded the killer.
That's right.
But if Mr. Godot had really been cut with the dagger, his clothes would be bloody or have a rip in them, right?
Maya? Maybe he just changed clothes? That'd solve the contradiction pretty easily.
Well, what are you talking about? It's not that simple at all. Remember back to the day of the murder. Everyone that was on the inner temple side got trapped there. Oh, that's right. And once the bridge was fixed and the police headed for the inner temple, Mr. Godot was already there waiting for them. He never had a chance to change his clothes. Ugh. Order? Order in the court? What the...
Well, maybe he brought a change of clothes with him.
But no one could have predicted the lightning strike that shut down the bridge. Why would anyone have brought a change of clothes?
Did the judge just take smart pills during the last recess? Well then, maybe the killer took off his clothes before he committed the murder. That way he wouldn't get any blood on them.
That's impossible, Trite. You know how cold it gets up there late at night? After a few minutes with no clothes on, you'd be frozen solid. So that's all you got. I knew you weren't tough enough to finish this. Right now, if Mia Fey were here... she would have closed the book on this case already.
If Mia Fey were here...
So come on, Trite. Can you do it or not?
How about it, Mr. Wright? You've accused Mr. Godot of being the killer. But can you prove it? Have you got even one piece of evidence?
The question isn't whether I can prove it or not. The fact is, I have to prove it. That's the only choice I have. I was taught that it's one of the rules of being a lawyer. I can prove it.
I'm going to bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition, just as you want it.
That's good. A fighter till the bitter end, right?
Is this a new mix?
Damn.
Since there's just one piece of evidence that can prove your point, why don't you go for the unlimited penalty?
Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godot? Because it doesn't matter to me. I've got the one piece of evidence I need. Wait, do I?
Give me a break. You got nothing, Trite.
So what do I do at a time like this? It's simple. I gotta think outside the box and approach this from a different angle.
All right then, Mr. Wright, let's hear what you've got.
There's one thing I've demonstrated in the previous cross-examination. The killer was wounded. That was proven by the blood on the dagger.
But we decided it was impossible for him to have hidden such a wound. If he'd been cut by a dagger, there should have been a bloodstain on his clothing.
There's one place the killer could have hidden his wound. When the lights went out.
What did you say?
Hidden.
This is it. My last stand. I need to think about this from a different angle. I don't need to think about why there were no bloodstains on his clothing. I need to show how he hid the wound. It's the end of the line, the final stop, Trite. Let's hear what you've got. Where's the location where you say the killer hid his wound?
I'm literally finishing this up by presenting Godot to Godot.
I don't know what you're talking about, and frankly, I don't need to know. What I do know is that you'll never be half the lawyer she was. Isn't that right, Trite? What was that just now? Mia? It can't be. You're living on through him.
Even as we speak, you're still hiding the wound. It's beneath your mask. During the fight, the red lights given off by the killer suddenly disappeared. Seconds later, the killer let out a scream. That's right, your mask went flying off your face. Mr. Godot, would you mind removing your mask? If you have a dagger wound under there somewhere, then I'd say this whole case is solved. Yeah, that was cool as shit.
Just now, I saw her spirit in you. I never liked you. 6 years ago, you helped the woman who put me to sleep by hiding her bottle of poison. And then, while I was sleeping, you let Mia die. But you didn't care. You just kept living your pathetic, happy-go-lucky life. You even had the nerve to follow in her footsteps as a lawyer. I could never forgive you. That's what I thought.
Mr. Godot.
But I was wrong about you. I knew it from the very beginning. The truth is, the only person I could never find it in my heart to forgive was me.
You yourself?
I was the one that failed to protect Mia. Me and no one else. I tried to avert my eyes from the truth to escape from the harshness of reality. I just couldn't face Mia's death head on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask. I threw away my true name. I couldn't even deal with being a defense attorney anymore, so I quit.
But you saved Maya.
Yeah, that was my plan. Up until just now, anyway.
What do you mean?
Are you listening, Maya? If I'd really wanted to save you, then there's one person I should have gone and talked to right away.
Who would that be? Are you talking about Nick?
But I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother, but I closed my eyes to the most important man involved. You know why? The real reason?
I mean, you also could have literally gone to Maya.
No, why?
I suppose I wasn't really interested in saving you at all.
Huh?
I think I was just trying to salvage what's left of my own broken soul. I was trying to make up for the fact that I couldn't save Mia. Nothing more. That's why I let you walk right into a situation that I knew was dangerous. Forgive me.
You're wrong. You put your life on the line to save Maya. Nick, don't protect him.
Was it really for Maya's sake? Even I'm not really sure.
What do you mean by that?
Well, that night in the darkness of the garden when I saw her silhouette, a part of me must have known the truth. The truth that it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing there in front of me. It could have been Misty Faye or even that little girl. But I still picked up the blade. It was like I was dreaming. I'm not sure exactly what was going on in my mind at that point. Was I really motivated by the pure desire to protect Maya Faye? Or was it something else? Was it my hatred for a woman who'd stolen everything from me 6 years earlier? Could it have been simply a desire for revenge? And now, I don't know anything anymore. I did learn something today, however. I finally realized that I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy. The stupid fantasy of defeating you in the courtroom. You were the one who made me realize my folly. You never ran away from Mia's death. Instead, you picked up where she left off as a true defender of the people. In that one moment, I understood everything. Mr. Godot. I think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando.
Mr. Armando, I believe in you. I know you were trying to save me.
Huh. Thanks.
Your wound, it's bleeding.
You forget already? In my world, the color red doesn't exist. These must be my tears.
Tears?
Ever since I woke up from my coma, I think I've been waiting for this very moment.
Mr. Armando.
You do well to remember this, Maya. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over.
Right, like the song from Castlevania.
This time it really is all over, isn't it?
It's over, isn't it?
Defendant?
Yes, Your Honor.
Although you weren't directly involved in the murder, tampering with the body and the crime scene is a serious offense in itself.
I understand, Your Honor. Mr. Armando explained that to me very carefully. I knew the risk, and I willingly cooperated anyway.
Very well. Before I hand down my verdict, is there anything you'd like to say?
Well, there is one thing. I'd like to say something to Mr. Wright. I want to apologize to you.
Apologize to me for what?
For the case 5 years ago, of course.
I just remembered. Weren't you poisoned by your own mother?
Not exactly, but yes, I'm like that. Even now, 5 years later, I can hardly believe it. She was gonna do it. She was planning to kill me.
It's not all that surprising. The two of you hardly knew each other.
Huh? What do you mean?
You and my sister. You only met twice. Huh? We only met twice? The first time you met was on that fateful day. The day she poisoned Mr. Armando in the cafeteria of this very courthouse. The next time you met her was 8 months later. You met her again on the day that she stole your cold medication. And Doug Swallow was killed.
No way. It can't be true. I mean, during our whole relationship, we were...
For those 8 months, the woman that you thought was Dahlia Hawthorne wasn't actually my sister.
Huh? It wasn't Dahlia.
I hope one day you can forgive me. Beanie.
You mean...
That's right. I lied to you. For 8 months.
But why? Why would you do such a thing?
Ever since she gave you the bottle that day, my sister was trying to get it back as soon as she possibly could. Because of the police investigation and their surveillance. She couldn't move about freely.
So that's why you...
My sister, from the beginning, she was prepared for the worst.
Prepared for the worst?
She thought that you might somehow discover the truth. And that's why she was always ready to deal with you at a moment's notice.
You mean she was ready to kill me, don't you?
She already had so much to answer for, I didn't want any more sins on her soul. I begged her not to do it, and she agreed to give me a chance.
And that's why you came to me. You came to get the bottle back from me in her place.
But I couldn't get you to give it back. I failed at something even as simple as that. 8 months passed and I still couldn't get it back from you. Finally, my sister couldn't wait any longer. She didn't consult me about her plans for you that day. It was the first time that had ever happened.
That was a bit strange, wasn't it? Up till that day, you two were partners in crime, and she would confer with you. Should have waited. I should have saved this for next week.
I think she must have noticed.
Noticed what?
My feelings for you. If I'd found out she was planning to kill you, I would have done whatever was necessary to stop her, even if it meant her life, or mine.
Iris.
After spending those 8 months by your side, my feelings toward you changed.
I have something to say to you, too.
Yes?
You really are the person I always thought you were. Even after Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, I still believed in you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to take one more 1-minute ad break. All right, and we're going to finish this up. Back in a few. All right, let's go.
How many cups of darkness have I drank over the years? Even I don't know. I'll tell you though, right now, this one here is the greatest cup I think I've ever had. Don't you think so, Phoenix Wright?
Yeah, I think you're right. The purpose of this trial was to rule on the murder of the victim, Elise Donim. At some point, I expect you'll be tried for your role as an accomplice to this case.
I understand, Your Honor.
Very well. On the charge of murder, I hereby find the defendant not guilty.
I won!
Court is now adjourned.
February 10, 4:51 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1. So I guess it's all over. The way everything ended, was justice really served? The man who risked his life to save Maya is being sent to prison by my own hand.
Of course justice was served.
Mia.
I'm proud of you, Phoenix. Your defense was truly brilliant.
But I couldn't save Mr. Armando. The man who cared so deeply for you.
You're wrong, Phoenix. You did save Diego. You saved him in the only way possible.
You mean with that verdict?
I think one day you'll understand too. Phoenix, I want you to remember one thing. You were as good out there today as any defense attorney could ever hope to be. There is nothing more that you can learn from me.
Mia.
You've accomplished something I wasn't able to. And I owe you a great deal. Thank you.
Mia.
I'm sure we'll meet again someday, Phoenix.
I've handled a lot of cases and seen a lot of things. And along this journey, I found myself asking just one question. What does it really mean to defend someone? I suppose today's case produced one possible answer.
Nick.
Maya.
I guess it's just like my sis said.
Mia? What did she say?
That night, when I channeled Mia to get her advice on what to do, this is what she wrote back in my notebook. Don't worry, Phoenix will save everyone in the end.
But...
Come on, cut it out with the gloomy face. Can't you see? Me, sis, and I'm sure Iris too. We owe you for everything you've done for us, Nick.
Maya.
Ow, how can you be so bright and chipper after all that happened? You were brutally attacked. You saw your own mother murdered. Yow! Francisca!
Still as softy as always, Phoenix Wright.
Excellent work, Wright.
Huh, Mr. Edgeworth? When did you get back?
Oh, that's right. I guess no one filled her in on that. Edgeworth and Francisca have actually been helping me.
Helping you?
If these two hadn't been here on the first day of the trial, the defense wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
Wow. But where were you, Nick? I heard he fell into a river and caught a nasty cold, which forced him to sleep all day.
Yes, he laid in bed shivering from his fever with Iris's hood pulled over his head.
Oh, ouch. Talk about embarrassing, Nick. You definitely need more training. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. And you too, Francisca.
I don't suppose...
There's room for me in this group hug, is there?
Oh, Larry.
What's with the longer than usual face? I realized something when I was reborn.
I realized that Larry was never of any use to anyone, not even once.
That's not true, right, Nick?
What? You're asking me? Well, Nick, is it true? I've got a place in this world, right? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I knew it. Everyone would be better off if I were gone for good.
No. Oh yeah. Those portraits you painted, they were really good.
Isn't that right, Edgeworth? What? Me? Why are you making that face, huh, Edgy? Oh, well, yes, indeed. I certainly can't say they lack resemblance. Do you really mean it? What about you, Francie? Did I draw you well, too?
My beauty can't possibly be captured by a mere crayon. Nevertheless, I recognize the effort you put into it, and that's worth something.
So you'll do it, like you promised? You're gonna model for my next picture book, Francie's Will?
Ah, don't get carried away.
I hate him so much.
Well, how about that? I guess painting portraits is the only thing I'm good at. That painting of Pearl was pretty darn good, too, if you ask me.
Huh?
Now that you mention it, I haven't seen her around.
Pearls. Where could she have gone? Normally, she would have made a beeline for Maya. Oh, I'll go look for it. Be right back. Hey, Pearly!
Right. You seem to be uncharacteristically puzzled. I suspect you're wondering how Maya can be so cheerful despite all that happened. Yeah.
To be honest, I can't understand it either.
Franziska, that's right. She lost her father fairly recently as well. I think I understand how she feels. Maya is a much wiser person than she appears, and I think she realizes something. Now is exactly the time when she needs to be as strong as she can.
What do you mean by now is exactly the time?
Maya wasn't the only one that was badly wounded by this incident. In fact, there was someone that was hurt far more deeply than she. I believe it's for that person that Maya's trying her best not to cry. Someone who was hurt more deeply than Maya. Edgeworth? Yeah, I think I'm starting to understand too.
Ow! Then tell me, Phoenix Wright. Who is Maya Fey being strong for?
I mean, for Phoenix Wright, right? We don't have a profile for Phoenix Wright. Is she being strong for herself? Is that what we're supposed to go to? Why did you just show me that, Phoenix Wright? For Pearl? I know, I was trying to find something else. I have no idea what purpose this is supposed to serve. Huh?
Well, don't worry, Wright. I'm not certain that my guess is entirely correct either.
This is exactly the time when Phoenix should get that question wrong anyway, so...
Only Maya can really say what the truth is inside her heart. Well, it looks like I still have a lot to learn about Maya.
Just as I thought, you have a lot to learn about women, Phoenix Wright.
Sorry, that was worth getting it wrong. I honestly didn't think the answer was for Pearl. That's my bad. I thought there was going to be a deeper question there.
Hey, so this is where you were. Wow, looks like we got quite a ouch! What was that for, sir?
Sorry about that, Scruffy. My whip just seems to have a mind of its own.
What's up, Detective Gumshoe?
Oh, you know, this and that. Anyway, congrats on your win. Let's go out tonight, pal. Dinner's on me.
My salary's just sort of kind of gone down by a teeny weeny bit, but it's alright. I made reservations at a first-class French restaurant tonight. Oh no.
Didn't someone just die there a little while ago?
Pretty good work, Scruffy. That whip was your reward.
Detective Gumshoe? You said a first-class French restaurant. You don't mean...
Très bien! Where else?
I knew it. We are doomed.
Come on, let's go, everyone. Can't keep Maggie waiting, pal. Hey, you! Crybaby! You're invited too!
Oh, forget about me. Pearl and I'll be at the loser's shack eating potatoes. You know, Maya's taken an awfully long time to get back. She's still out looking for pearls. Oh. Maya, what's wrong?
Nick, what do I do? Pearly, I can't find her anywhere.
Huh?
I bet she just went back home, that's all.
I thought so too, so I called the village, but no one's heard from her. This has never happened before.
As I figured, she's been badly hurt by this incident. She feels responsible for the tragedy that's befallen you, Maya.
But none of this was her fault. What should I do?
Detective Gumshoe.
Yeah, what is it, pal?
Could you guys go on ahead?
But what about you?
Maya and I we'll join you guys once we find pearls.
Nick.
Don't worry about us. Don't worry about us, Detective. Well, we may be a little late, but we'll definitely be there. We got a lot of celebrating to do tonight, and I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Yeah, but you... Ow!
Very well, Phoenix Wright. We'll go on ahead.
Don't keep us waiting, right?
We won't.
But where should we look? Where could Pearly have gone?
Home. Not the village. Let's go, Maya. There's only one place I could think of that pearls might have gone to. Oh. I thought it was going to be Phoenix Wright's law office. February 10, Hazakura Temple, main gate. Couple calls I've made wrong.
Hazakura Temple.
Well, for pearls, I bet this is a very important place. After all, it's where the whole incident started.
What's this? You're all back again so soon?
Sister Bikini?
I thought we'd be eating mashed potatoes alone tonight. So she's here? Pearly's here? She's in the training hall. Why don't you hurry along and go see her? Okay. Pearly's not here.
Ah! Maya, the hanging scroll!
Ah!
Someone cleaned it off. It's gotta be pearls.
Ah! Mystic Maya! Pearly, why did you just leave like that? Mystic Maya. Mystic Maya?
Just like it started.
I swore that I would never trouble the two of you ever again. Because it's all my fault that Mystic Maya's mother...
That's why you came here?
It's the least I could do to pray for your happiness. You don't have to do that, Pearly. It wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Of course I'm sad that my mother's gone, but... How do I say this? I'm still happy. You don't have to lie just to make me feel better. No, really. It's true. The only reason I'm still here at all is thanks to everyone who was there for me. My sister, my mother, Mr. Armando, Nick, and you. Even if one of you weren't there, I'm sure I wouldn't... If even one of you weren't there, I'm sure I wouldn't still be alive right now. And that's why I have to be strong. For all the people that were there for me when I needed them. That's all I can really do. Mystic Maya? I'm impressed. You truly are the daughter of Mystic Misty. Sister Bikini, your mother, Mystic Misty, was a strong woman indeed. I want to tell you what she said to me that night. After dishonoring the good name of Kurain, I don't have the right to face my daughter. But still, Maya is always in my thoughts. It's true, she'll always be with me until the day I die. Your spirit was with her, that's why your mother was so strong. Even at the end, I'm sure she had no regrets. She'll always be with me until the day I die, huh?
There's a rule or something all masters are to follow, isn't there? To never take the charm off until the day you die.
That's the Master's talisman. The thing that Misty kept...
The thing that Misty kept by her heart and would never take off. It wasn't the container that was important, rather it was the contents.
That's... a photo? Mother.
It's only natural for living creatures to fight to protect their own lives. But what makes us human is that we fight for others. But who do you fight for? How hard must you fight? That's the true measure of what human life is worth. We defense attorneys are warriors who are constantly challenged by that question.
Oh my gosh.
Even when the battle's over and the bonds that connect us are severed, we always return, time and time again. Mia, Maya, Pearls, Mr. Armando, and Maya's mother too. I learned that from all of them. An unofficial Fae tradition, yeah. Ain't that the way? Well, shall we get going? Everyone's waiting. This is a day to remember. A day when a lot of things are finally put to rest. I think we should celebrate what we've overcome today.
But... I still can't.
That's true, Astro Dude. Thank you.
Oh, go on, sweetie. You can come back for training anytime. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna make a brand new start, too. Sister Bikini, I'll be back for more training, I promise. I know, and I won't go easy on you just 'cause you're the future master. I'll make sure to prepare reservations for 3 for when you come back. Alright. We're gonna have a great feast today, Pearly. You know why? 'Cause training is a battle of endurance. Okay, Mystic Maya, I'll eat lots and lots of food tonight.
You know, there's one thing I don't get, and probably don't want to, but...
What is it, Nick?
Reservations for training is fine and all. But why for 3?
Oh, come on, what do you think? You're one of us, Nick. Next time, you can train right alongside us.
Huh?
I'll be waiting for you. Sister Bikini will take special care of you.
Huh?
It'll be great, Nick. We're gonna do the special chorus naturally. That's a great idea. After all, Mr. Nick, you'd do anything for Mystic Maya, wouldn't you? Even walk on hot coals, right? We'll have a nice big meal before we come next time, right, Nick?
You know, I was wondering if I can say just one little thing.
Sure, of course you can. Oh, I love this part. I can't wait to hear it. I'm getting goosebumps, too.
Well then,
Here goes nothing.
Oh, fuck.
I'll really have to work extra hard now. Master of Kurain and the office manager of Wright & Co. And I have to be a good big sister to Pearly and Nick. Well, as long as I'm not locked up or captured or something like that.
These always go by too quickly.
So it's true. Mr. Nick really is Mystic Maya's knight in shining armor. He went through with the special course all the way to the end. Actually, I heard there's a legendary extra special ultra course here too. I think I'll surprise the two of them by making them a secret reservation.
Yeah, I like that. I like this game a lot. I think it was a good cap. I'm dyslexic and the text is going very quickly. Maggie brought me a brand new coat as a present, pal. I feel 10 years younger. I'll never take it off.
Yes, but somehow you just don't seem the same. I guess a dirty, shabby old overcoat is just more detective-like, sir.
Don't worry about it. In the name of love, a man will soil himself silly. Jesus Christ.
Mr. Wright, I am once again in your debt. Thanks to you, the Treasures of Kurain exhibit was a great success. I even got to see Ms. Von Karma, who I hadn't seen for almost a year. She taught me how to use a whip and said that I must show you what I've learned. Oh, she is Keistis from Final Fantasy VIII.
I knew it.
And Desi and I started a company called Mass to Mass Consulting. We're dedicated to stopping the evil plans of all the criminals in the city. Our motto is cut it out, please. Pretty cute, huh? Well, we also sell plans to the criminals as kind of a side business. I wonder if that's okay. Sometimes I think maybe we're the worst criminals.
Oh, fuck. No, this is great.
I wanted to show my appreciation to Mr. Wright for exterminating Don Tigre, so I lent him $500,000 in a tea set. A special thick tea, one I mixed with my own two hands. I bet he's drinking it now. Win through compromise.
I like her.
I'm just old and in the way, a wrinkly, grumpy, clown-nosed waste of flesh. At least that's what I thought. But my grandkids had a birthday party for me the other day. Talk about embarrassing. 69 years old and I cried like a baby with a dirty diaper.
Aww. Graphic, but aww.
As usual, we have an abundance of work to do. We've hired a new programmer to replace Glenn Elg. I do hope everyone will get along. His name is Adam Mata.
Of course it is.
As soon as I heard his name, I knew our brain's circuit would align perfectly.
Yeah, he looks a lot older, huh?
My, more reporters. Since the murder, we've made so much money, I hardly know what to do. I think the magazines like us because I provide such a nice visual, especially in spring. I can hardly wait for Iris to come back.
I like her too. She fucked up, but you know, she made up for it. Special thanks. Near Automata. Oh no, please don't.
You've transformed into such a respectable man, Feeny. It was so sweet of you and everyone else to come and visit me here today. Of course, I was happy that you constantly had your eyes on me, but I felt kind of bad when the little one slapped you so hard you got a nosebleed.
Phoenix Wright, now voiced by Sam Riegel. Miles Edgeworth by Seon King.
Mia Fey by Christina Catano. Oh no, my controller turned off. Why did Mike... There we go. I'm mad about it. Godot, James C. Wilson. Franziska von Karma by Janet Sue. Oh, right, I forgot. Winston Payne by David Crislip. I forgot about Payne, as per usual.
What's this? I'm back from a long and tiring vacation and no one's here to greet me? I guess while I was gone, my little whippersnapper buddy quit and now I've got no one. And what kind of lonely, crazy security room is this supposed to be anyway? What with all the flashing lights and the switches, I feel like some sort of space alien. And now I'm gonna do all these macadamia nuts I brought if I bring them over to Edgy Poo. I really can't accept these. Something like just painful heart. Oh, will I ever find a gentleman? Rat-a-tat-a-tat.
I finally found something I love to do. Francie's whippity-whip trip is gonna turn the art world on its head. I should have realized it sooner. Self-centered, lazy, antisocial? Of course I'm an artist. A really good portrait artist. I'm not a loser after all. In the hand-drawn illustrations, Maya always looks really young. Like early teens. And that's it. We did it. We finished Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. Only almost 3 hours overtime. Holy shit. Oh, I should have stopped 3 hours ago, and I know it. I'm gonna be exhausted. Fuck. Alright, well, thanks for coming, everyone. I don't know what I'm gonna do next week. I got a couple ideas. I was thinking of doing some horror and shorter. Who's counting? I am, sadly. I'm getting old. I can't be doing this for 6 hours at a time, and I'm so tired. Alright, thanks everyone for coming. Really appreciate having you here. Really do. Oh, alright. If you want to support us, and we are very short on money this month, so it's even more appreciated than usual. You can head on over, or you can subscribe here, or you can head on over to patreon.com/ifwhen and get access to art, music, and shoutouts at the end of the stream. So thank you so much to our patrons: Angelic, Willow Mist, Sky, Green, Andymonium, Melly Basket, Kai, and Nahum Wengrov. You rock. I guess I should go over here, huh? Alright. Here's the schedule. Tomorrow, Bad Road's going to be playing. He's got a couple games that he said he'll put it in the chat if he's decided and wants anyone to know. Over on his channel, Bad Road, and then back and this channel, it'll be 2 with more Shin Megami Tensei 5. Here's our YouTube channel. That's where the streams go when we're finally done with them. That's it. Okay. Thanks everyone again for coming. And we'll see you next time. If I can find the damn button to turn off the stream.